Hey Brian, what's up, man? Laura, Sherry, Robin, Kathleen, Jenny, Barbie, Doug. We're getting some good regulars here. Quick question for you guys, our little icebreaker question. So, do you believe marketing is very important to homeowners when choosing their listing agent? I know it sounds probably like a rhetorical question or like an obvious one, but I've actually asked this a few times and I have been surprised by answers. Let's put it that way. So type in the chat if you guys think that marketing is very important to homeowners when they're choosing their listing agent. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. I know we have more people coming in. Also, let's get those videos on. Unless you're driving. We talked about that before. No driving and video on. Shane says yes. Laura says yes. Barbie says to some. Brian, marketing is the most important thing for business. Whoa, Brian coming in strong. He's like, hold up. I know this answer. This is what I'm talking about. Sherry says yes. I find it crazy too because I would say that if you ask most people, even if they're like not business owners, I think we all as a society have an inherent understanding of marketing, like meaning that it's important. They have to see the thing, they have to hear the thing, they have to understand the thing. What's crazy is that marketing is often the thing that agents are worst at. So you take one of the absolute most important things in any business. And this isn't just agents, by the way. I'm not just dogging it on us. Loan officers are terrible at it. I mean, most businesses in general. And honestly, I'd even argue that really successful businesses, like legacy businesses, are actually not that great at marketing either. Most of them are super corporate and generic, and they require and rely on, like Walmart. Walmart sucks at marketing, but Walmart uses money and the machine gun, right? Like just spray and pray. And then they use their footprint, right? Actual physical stores to demand a presence, right? And then you're driving by and people are like, oh, there's the Walmart. I know. So their marketing worked years ago and they just never got better at it. It worked years ago for people to know I could get a pretty good deal at Walmart compared to, say, Target, which we all know is typically more expensive than Walmart. Let's see what Jenny says. In all the years I've been selling, one asked about staging. Aside from that, not one seller's asked me about marketing. They care about price. Ooh, okay, we're gonna get those two things are actually the same, almost exactly the same. Or how about I put it this way? They are directly correlated to each other in most cases. Not all. I want to be fair. I want to be transparent. So yeah, drop in the chat if you. I know we got more people coming in. I love this, guys. Makes me so happy when I just see this room filling up. Kind of empowers my day too. So again, drop in the chat if you think that marketing is very important to sellers when choosing a listing agent who's going to list their home. And remember, there's no wrong answer. It's genuinely your. Oh well, Brandon, I would expect that from. Nah, nah. What is marketing? All right, one more minute. You know, guys know how it is. Zoom and connecting and taking a minute. So we always do 5 after, and then we'll be very punctual. Bonnie says, absolutely. I like it. I like it. In today's world with AI, yes. You know, honestly, man, marketing with AI, I actually think marketing, people think that marketing is becoming less important, but it's more of how you market now. Like eventually, and actually it's already happening. AI is becoming your Google, your search recommendation, you know, and it's like, hey, we actually named our chat GPT. We call it Cam. I don't know why. My wife named it. And so it's like, hey Cam, what's a great ISA company? And my buddy Gustavo got one of his biggest clients from chat GPT. He runs an ISA company and he was like, he asked them how they found it. And he's like, I asked ChatGPT and it told me that you were one of the best ISA companies. That's wild. Like, so learning how to market to AI, it's actually a really weird concept. Like, All right, guys, we're five after. We're very punctual with our time, so let's get into it. So again, a lot of you answered yes. Some of you answered, yeah, kind of, a little hit or miss, right? And honestly, this is great. This is great. I'm just glad that you answered it all. But now the next question is, do you have a clear, concise, and impactful slide in your listing presentation dedicated to exactly how you market listings? I want to know that answer. Drop yes or no in the chat. Yes, you have that, or no. And remember, there's no wrong answer. Laura says no. Deb says driving and listening. Jenny says I have a basic list. Listen, basic lists are fantastic. They are amazing. Like basic used to be an insult, but I feel like basic is often a compliment when it comes to information. Keep it basic, man. Bonnie says yes, yes. I love it, guys. So today we're going to be showing you how to win more listings by about 22%, which, for simple rounded up math, that's basically an extra one out of every four listings. Who would like an extra, listing? I mean, come on now, consistently. Super important, right? Okay, so this is for you. If you know that marketing is a crucial aspect of winning the listing appointment, is essential for getting the most exposure on a home possible, that you know that you can market a home, but maybe you just haven't put it down clearly. You're not even really sure. You're like, I know I can do stuff. I don't know how to articulate it. I don't know how to write it down. I don't know. And I would venture a lot of you might fit in that category. You might be like, well, I mean, there's stuff I do, right? Shane, you guys have slides? I know Shane. I know he markets. I know he does some work. But he's like, man, I don't even have it on paper. So as far as the consumer is concerned, you don't have marketing. You don't know a thing. And then we have to spend a lot of extra time trying to show them, oh, yeah, no, I actually do know what I'm doing. And honestly, if you just want some good marketing examples and ideas to help you win more listings, because who couldn't use more of an advantage in a market that has more hesitation and fear? But let's talk about the 4 conditions of being on the call. Remember, number 1, video on. A lot of you guys get those videos on. Barbie, Jenny, Robin, Elise, look at you. You were like, I'm on it. I got you. I got you. That's the attitude I like. Deanna, Steven, John, Monica. I know there's more on the second page. I'm losing track. Get those videos on. Let's see those beautiful faces. Number 2, distractions off. Steven's not clothed, bud. Steven, we've talked about this. All right. So distractions off. Come on. You didn't show up today to be distracted. You showed up because you saw something here that said, this might actually help me. And if you've been on these calls before, guys, you know we deliver. You will walk away from this call with something you can do immediately that will make an impact in your business. Participate. Our calls are highly engaged. There's going to be questions, activities, breakout rooms. You're here to actually accomplish something. And then one of the most important ones is go make someone else's day. I'm doing all of this. Brandon is taking time for free. That's it, free, right? Go share something that you learned today with someone else. Go bless their day. I don't care if it's a client and you just do a better job with them. Go share it with another agent. Go share it with a loan officer. Just go bless someone. And then I have one small favor, okay? I do this all free. I run a newsletter. Open the newsletter if you got it. Just help me out. It helps with my delivery rates. Open the newsletter and click all the links, especially the ads. You don't have to buy anything. I don't care. I just get paid for the clicks, okay? That's a super free way that takes you less than 30 seconds to help me. It'd be a blessing. Now, let's get into it. The marketing slide problem. So most agents know marketing matters, but they struggle badly to explain exactly how they market homes. They either skip going over marketing entirely. I've seen this so many times. Like they just kind of gloss right over it, right? Like Shane just said, he knows he markets, but if he doesn't have the slides, good chance is he only will bring up, and Shane, you can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but he'll only bring it up if he remembers to, or if the client brings it up. Now, if something is core and important, you never rely on an outside source, including your own memory, by the way, to remember. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Or you typically will just overcomplicate it, right? It makes a homeowner's tune out. You guys have all been there. All been there. where someone is just info dumping on you and you're like, uh-huh, uh-huh, and you're not digesting a single word. It's just too much information, right? Well, here's someone who can relate. This guy. Oh man. So Brandon, man, he just like you, he knew that marketing was important, but he didn't know how to present it. When we're talking about how a lot of this came about, it was like, well, duh, I market, and duh, marketing is important, but how do I articulate that? How do I share that, right? Then he figured out how to use a simple slide. I want to emphasize that for a minute. Simple. Anybody who's afraid about graphic design, don't worry. This is definitely the call for you. This is about just what you say, and much less actually about the slide, but rather how the slide helps you to articulate. Okay? No fancy edits needed to explain his marketing that now helps him win more listings. Pretty good deal, right? And everything that we're going to share with you, a lot of this you probably already have or can do in some sort. Okay. So Brandon, I got a question for you. Like, what was the big moment when you were like, yeah, I need this slide. Like, I need this.
Hi. Hey guys, thanks for having me, Robert, and nice to see everyone's faces on here. Definitely appreciate it. For me, I think it was more than one big moment. It was multiple times going into listing appointments and me conveying and articulating, and then forgetting things that are important to the homeowners, right? So for me, that's why I started building the slides. Whether or not I use them depends on the person who I'm sitting down with. But I always try to give them to the person. But I realized that I was forgetting valuable information that's very simple to us. We take for granted on a daily basis. Like, yeah, I'm going to put your listing in the MLS. As crazy as that sounds, some homeowners ask the question, right? So that's a very simple and obvious one. But yeah, I just started having, brain farts and I'm like, well, I need something to help me stay on track and convey my value as an agent and how I stand out. So
Anybody
yeah.
relate to that, by the way? Anybody relate to that? If you're producing at all, you know that is your story too. That is definitely my story for sure. And I'm someone who used to pride themselves on like having a pretty flawless memory when it comes to things because of repetition. But man, you just forget. You get lost in conversation, or like for me, if someone breaks my flow, I'm like going over things and then they like totally sidetrack me. And then I'm like, crap, like totally my whole brain just like loses track because I'm a very structured person. So when my structure is broken, it's actually I like get derailed pretty easily. So if you're not convinced yet, let me give you a couple other bullet points of why you should care about the marketing slide. It clearly shows homeowners, a lot of this Brandon just said, homeowners exactly how you market their home. No vagueness like most other agents they've met with. It's short and concise because complexity makes people move away while simplicity draws them in. Okay. And I want to be very clear. You can have extra slides that expound on your marketing slide. You can have ones that are supporting to where if someone's like, oh, what's that? What does that mean? And then you have an additional marketing slide that you can then tap into. In fact, in these slideshows I do for you guys, sometimes I'll have slides that are hidden that just in case it's relevant, I'm going to bring it up or not. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. All right. It demonstrates your competence right off the bat, your competence, your confidence, and organization from the very first conversation. Because it is an impressive thing to hear someone actually know what they're doing and be able to say that. Would you all agree? I mean, imagine a doctor comes in and you're like, what's the diagnosis? And they're like, something. I read something on the chart. I just can't even remember. It's probably not a big deal. Just don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. And you're going to be like, well, no, 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 no. I need confidence. I need clarity, right? I need you to be very direct with me here, doc. This is someone's biggest purchase ever. They need to know. You got it together. And then it creates a clear contrast to why you're worth listing with. And more importantly, because this is always in jeopardy, paying your commission. This is one of the most important aspects that is actually weighted, even subconsciously, from homeowners in the whether they should pay you or not, or whether you're worth the money or not. Okay. So to make this really clear, this isn't about pretty marketing materials. Okay. It's about taking confused or skeptical homeowners and turning them into confident clients who clearly see your value and never doubt your commission again. You guys resonate with that? Yeah, that's where we need to be always. So now let's get to work. Let's get to step one. How do you market? So I'm going to help you guys today to start going down the path that Brandon has built for himself, and it's a never-ending journey, by the way. You will do this until you don't do this anymore in real estate. Like this will always continue. So I want you to write down at least one effective method you actually use to market listings. And for this exercise, you can't say the MLS. That's too obvious. We're all agents, loan officers here. We already know. So you're going to just choose something else. And it has to be separate from your brokerage or team or something like that. It's something that you personally do, okay, of yourself to market a listing. I want you to I'm going to give you some examples, right? So it could be that you run Facebook, Instagram, Google ads, right? It could be that you go into Facebook groups, right? Brandon, he uses military groups, and we're going to get into that in a second, right? Open houses, door knocking, mailers, email blasts, referral networks that you have built. So again, not ones your brokerage provides you, but networks you built. Again, that's another thing that Brandon's done. Maybe you host a show. Maybe you do social media content, right? There are so many things. So drop in the chat, pick one thing that you feel is the most effective marketing strategy you use for listings. And again, it's what you do, not what others do. I'm seeing a lot of Facebook Marketplace. You guys come in my 100K challenge, aren't you? We got a lot of 100Kers in here, don't we? I love it. Facebook Marketplace, Brian, Steven, Facebook Marketplace. John says Instagram video tour. Ooh, let's go. Let's go. I like it. Bonnie, help me out with there. Facebook. Are you saying like making Facebook posts? Is that what I'm when you say Facebook? Because you say marketplace and group. So I'm wondering, okay, when you is Facebook, let me know. Video reels, door knocking. Let's go, Bonnie. You ain't afraid. John, you say marketplace. Marketplace is so good, guys. So good. Lauren, Facebook. What part of Facebook, Lauren? Drop that in the chat. I'm curious. Clarence, Facebook, same question. Doug, LinkedIn. Okay, drop in the chat, Doug. I'm really curious what you do in LinkedIn. I'm wondering if you're sending some direct messages or I know that you can make posts. I know you can have what is it, like communities on LinkedIn? I'm kind of still touching, I'm learning a little bit out there. This is some good stuff, man. I love it, guys. I love it. So, Brandon, a question for you. Which strategy do you feel that you do? Because I've seen your list. It's a pretty long list. Which one do you feel impresses them the most? So it may not even be the most effective, but the most like, oh, okay, that's cool, or that sounds awesome.
I think the one that impresses them the most, but probably, between us is probably the least effective is listing billboards. But are you referring to what I bring or what?
We'll do the brokers and
Yeah,
so
you're
you
right. So I got ahead of
specifically. Yeah, yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Yep, yep. No worries. I think for me is the open or I'm sorry, the just listed flyers, things like that, the tangible marketing materials, people love to see that.
Mm.
Investing in quality materials and things like that is a great one. I'd say there it really depends on the seller, right? Some sellers are like they care less, they don't understand the value of it, or they're not sure. But you going above and beyond the MLS and showcasing those things, so there could be a multitude of things. So I don't have one in particular that is like
I think the physical
showstopper,
marketing materials
right?
is a powerful one.
Yeah.
People, I mean, we're still all tangible at the end of the day, right? We'd like
Yeah.
to be able to see, touch, smell, right? All these things. Like we are sensory beings. And honestly, I think we're overwhelmed by the amount of digital that's thrown at us.
Yep.
So every now and then when we can just get something physical in our hands, it just feels valuable, even if it's garbage, right? Even if like Brandon said, like it doesn't mean that that directly correlates to the home being sold or not. It might, right? And that's a whole different discussion on mailers. We can always do that. You guys know that.
Absolutely.
But the point is that the seller is finding weight in that, value in that, and that's very important. Because think about it this way: we're emotional. For those of you who have relationships, maybe spouses, kids, there are things that you do for them that to you mean nothing. You're like, whatever, like this isn't a big deal, but to them mean the world, right? You think sellers are any less human than your other relationships? Absolutely not. So you're going to have things. Marketing isn't just optimization. Marketing is emotional presence as well, emotional security.
Bonnie had a good question in there. She asked, "Hey, do you have quality materials printed for every listing, no matter the sell price?" I would say yes to a certain extent. I have a few things that I do for every single listing, no matter what, in terms of materials, and then depending on price point and what we're trying to achieve, then I'll do higher quality booklets and or flyers or an actual book, so there's a lot of different things you can do, but I do every time I do just listed flyers. I do in marketing materials for inside for when the buyers come through and they see or showings, they see that as far as highlights for the house. So I'll print out highlights and put them in nice quality materials inside the house to highlight, hey, these features you might not see it when you walk by it the first time, but I'm going to make
Mm,
sure you see it
I
when we
love
walk
those.
by in the house. So little details like that. It's not always the
I'm thinking we're
material
going to have
per
to do some
se.
follow up calls, man.
Quality, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I get excited and passionate about this stuff. It's how what are you doing to be creative? It's not just a just sold flyer. What are you actually doing with those flyers? Can you take it to local businesses? Can you collaborate with
Yeah.
these? Anyway, so I don't want to get off topic, but
We'll get more
yes,
into that. I
hopefully
love
that
this,
answers
man.
your
It sounds like
question.
we might need to do some more calls. And guys, we will get to questions as well. Keep dropping them in the chat. I want to make sure also that you get. No, Brandon, you're good. You're good. That was a good question. It was a good question. I want to encourage you guys to drop more questions in the chat so that we will answer more of them. I just want to make sure that we get through what's next. Step two, what can you leverage? So, first in step one, we talked about what you by yourself can do, right? Whether that you go and make mailers, whether you go and door knock, whether you do this activity and it is not reliant on an outside party like, say, your brokerage, your team, or loan officer, or vendors, or things like that. Okay. Now we're going to talk about leverage. Now I want you to identify at least one unique asset you leverage from your brokerage team or, say, your strategic partnerships. Again, that could be lenders, title companies, whatever, right? Drop that in the chat. So you've got their personal one. Now I want you to do your leveraged one, an asset or thing like that. Don't worry, I'm going to give you some examples. So maybe you have an exclusive buy before you sell programs. People have heard of Knock and things like that. There are brokerages that will consolidate those or offer those in-house services. There's different things like that. Maybe it's an internal brokerage buyer network, right? I mean, love them or hate them, Compass is trying to do that. You use it the right way, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it'll work. I mean, time will tell, right? Cash offer programs, okay? International marketing networks, okay? There are brokerages who have that international presence that allow them to do that. Maybe it's demographic specific programs, right? Luxury, military, sports. Maybe it's just unique things that you do, or sorry, unique things that you can leverage that someone does, right? For instance, one of the lenders I work with has a huge social media following, right? And so I can actually leverage his social media following. It's not mine. I already have my own. That's already in my personal category. But I can also leverage his to get more exposure. Maybe you do Zillow Showcase. Maybe your brokerage provides it, right? I think Brandon's brokerage provides Zillow Showcase, and I haven't looked into it. We're at the same place, but I haven't looked into it myself. But I think they do, right? So find a leverage asset that you have and then drop it in the chat. Make sure you're saving these. These are all going to come together to be very useful to you in just a few minutes, okay? So make sure you write down that personal one, you save it, write down this second one, this leveraged one. So Trina says she gets listing billboards, click offers. That's okay. So click offers is like a cash buyer program. Awesome. Title doing promo materials for listings. Way to go, Title. Not just sitting on their butts. Title is notoriously like absent from transactions, and I have always been. My title company works. Man, they work for it. They are not just there at the closing table. They help market. Like they show up to events. They're amazing. Um, Move tube for my LO, Bonnie. We'll learn more about that. That sounds interesting. QR codes, landing pages. I love it. Trina says you're about to use Zillow Showcase. There we go. Listing billboard, Kathleen. There we go. Lauren, listing billboards. Stephen, Home Sales Plus. Right? So these leverage things from team and brokerage. Make sure each of you have something written down. This is important. This is actually important. All right. And it doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. Remember, I didn't ask you for the most effective on this one. This one, I just said, just give me something that you can leverage. Okay. All right. Question for you, Brandon. What is one of your favorite things that you leverage from your, let's say, brokerage? Because I know you're not on a team. So from
Yeah.
your brokerage.
Absolutely. So, for me, obviously, I already said listing billboards, so we'll move past that one. I like a new one that we just have offered for us is called Redo, and its ability to get a 3D model of a home, and where buyers can come in, they can click on the countertops and say, I want granite, and I want it this color. We got painted walls; they're white. I want them dark gray or whatever it is, right? Obviously, don't do gray anymore. That's not in tune anymore. But so it's called Redo because you're having a visualization leverage to be able to, and it's cool because you can get buyers this way as well on your listings. Now they can actually see themselves in a home that might need a little bit of work, might not be a full flip, but it offers, just another little thing that sellers can say, hey, this is another way I can market your property, right? So that's a
I
fun
like
one
it.
that I
That's
like.
pretty cool. That's a
Yeah,
great leveraged asset. All right, guys. So here's the good news. If you did step one and two and you're actually interactive in the call, you just started your marketing offer. You just started your marketing slide. You're piecing it together. You're already accomplishing something here. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Give yourselves a little pat on the back. Okay. For many of you, this is the farthest you've gotten, huh? This is the farthest you've gotten to actually writing down how you market. That's okay. There's always going to be things you need to improve and grow on. I'm just proud of you being here and actually getting involved. Okay. So, congratulations on that. And by the way, what you just wrote down, you will be able to use for listing presentations, social media marketing. This isn't just a one use case. You'll be able to use this across the board in many different mediums. Okay. All right. So now Brandon and I are going to talk it out because while it's important to have all of these marketing assets and slides, one of the most dangerous things, I'm giving you a little spoiler of the top mistakes that agents make that you'll see in the newsletter on this, right? One of the most dangerous things is to overcomplicate it or info dump. And then what something positive actually becomes a negative. When we feel overwhelmed, right? Think about this. Any of you guys have kids, like small kids? Okay. Even when they're happy, if they are constantly loud and constantly in your face, you love them, they're amazing. But if it just doesn't stop, another question and another question and another question, you start to get overstimulated. And then something that's very positive, they have a happy attitude, they're just trying to learn. But you get so overwhelmed that the positive feels like a negative, right? Sellers are human like you. And so too much information. So I'd argue, aside from a bullet list, the most critical aspect of the slide is not actually the slide itself, it's how you articulate it. It's how you articulate the value. So Brandon, let's do we did the military groups. I wrote it here for you guys. If you can't read it, it's fine. Remember, we'll send you the slideshow. But how would you I tried to take what we discussed on our initial call on this and kind of write it down for them.
absolutely.
So just pretend I'm the seller, and why don't you kind of run through it on the military Facebook groups and how you leverage those?
Absolutely. So, Mr. Seller, I know that finding a buyer for a home, us being in a military town, there's a lot of military buyers out there, right? So, how am I going to provide access to those buyers? So, I have a few different ways of doing that. One of them is our military Facebook group. So, I'm in multiple Facebook groups. I'm in a few nationwide vetted referral networks as well. So, I'm able to tap into those and really access people who are one, agents that have buyers that are relocating here, but two, potential buyers that are moving out of here, and we can actually market to them. So everybody has access to MLS. Here's just one aspect that I can provide as an overlay to what I'm already doing for what you're already seeing to help you get more eyes. Because at the end of the day, you just need more eyes on your property to get them to come through the door, and from there, that's where we kind of start that sales funnel for buyers, right? So.
Love it,
Yeah,
love it. So it's simple, it's easy. You guys can say it in your own tone and your own voice, but you need to be able to articulate what's on the slide. Notice how anybody think this is a lot of text on a single slide? Anybody agree? A lot of text. So obviously you can't write this down on the slide. You're going to have to know. how you simply and easily convey. And notice Brandon didn't even follow exactly what I put. He knows how he expresses it to his clients.
Yeah, I didn't even read that. Sorry. I think we're trying to get to the point, right? Of like, hey, you got
Exactly.
to the slides don't really matter at the end of the day. They're just a guide for you to convey your value. And once you have the confidence to know your value and how to articulate that, you spit it out and you stop talking. You get it out and you
Yeah.
stop. I think that's key too. People start to talk, 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 and then you just missed your whole point of being concise, right?
Yes, I love it. And guys, for sake of time, we won't role play the redo one, but I will put that in the newsletter on Friday so you can see this slide and kind of how Brandon talks through a leveraged asset. And the important part of that is that even when it's a leveraged asset, it still comes across as your asset. You don't talk about your brokerage, even if it's a brokerage provided service. It's just a weird thing. Like, could you imagine the doctors just like, yeah, and then like I'm in a doctor's group, and that doctor's group actually, like, you don't care. What are you going to do for me today? Thank you. All the extra stuff is a waste of time. You're distracting me. So it's
You're the
super
brand.
simple. Now, who wants to see a slide? You won't believe it. You want anybody want to see a slide? Drop a
It's
thumbs
not
up in
that
the
great.
chat.
It's not that great. No, I'm just kidding. I will,
That's
while
so
you
funny.
guys are dropping
Yeah.
that in the chat, sorry to interrupt, Robert, but I think it's important to know that me and Robert were going back and forth. He's like, "Hey, Brandon, let me get that slide. Hey, let me get that slide." Me personally, I was like, "Ooh, I got to show this to people." I'm very, OCD about my things. So I was like, you know what? It's simple. I use it. I've improved it since in terms of I'm improving it. But I initially was so don't get caught up on the details of the slide. Just put your information on there and let you be the brand and talk through it, right? I think that's important.
Yes, I love it. Give me some more thumbs up in the chat so I know you guys are still here. If you want to see a slide, it's gonna surprise you. Just watch. Just watch. And then we'll share more about what we talked about, Brandon, because I think it's funny and I think it's important. There we go. Get a couple more. Come on. All right. You guys ready? Boom. This is the one. Now he has other ancillary slides that go along with this that if anybody wants to explain more, like what's Zillow Showcase, what's his buyer program. Those are all complementary. But essentially this right here is here's what you can expect from marketing. Now, they are not going to read this, just so you know.
Nope.
They're not actually going to read this at all. It's actually a great slide. And let me explain to you why it's a great slide. The important part on the left is emphasized. I have a plan. Okay? I have a plan. The second part is I've actually got a list. There's details to this plan, right? What makes us feel confident? Details, right? That someone has a plan. Do you have a plan? Yep. Here's a map. Here's the trail on the map. Here's how I mapped it out. Oh, okay. Maybe he does have a plan, right? And then even timeline. Yeah, these things are going to start right away. These things are going to happen the whole time. Now, who was expecting a really pretty, fancy slide or maybe something that was really extravagant, lots of graphics? Anybody expecting that? In our nature to
Laura said,
expect
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right? And even when Brandon and I were talking, because we all do this, I do this every week, guys. I still get nervous when I go to present you guys stuff. And Brandon's like, dude, my slides are not pretty. Like, basically, he was like, dude, they don't look that good. And I said, great. That's exactly what I want because everybody on this call probably sucks at making slides. Sorry, guys, but you probably do. Let's be real, right? But I think most of you are competent enough to be able to make a bullet list. Are you not? You guys think you can handle that? Kathleen's like, we'll see. Right? This is real estate right here. Get a bullet list together, which I helped you start today, by the way. Get a bullet list together and then just articulate it. And speaking of which, it's your turn. Let's get into the breakout rooms. We're going to be practicing this. So now that you have your personal marketing offer, just 1 point, right? Step one, that's what you did in step one. And then you have your brokerage leverage asset. If you're on a team, you can use team as well. Okay, that's step two. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go into the breakout room and you're going to use the examples that Brandon just gave you, like a quick example of how he articulates the value to the homeowner, right? You're going to go and into the breakout room, write them down if you haven't. I know some of you wrote it in the chat, but you didn't actually write it on paper. So write it down on paper if you need to, and then role play it. Role play it with your partner. Just say it out loud to them, right? If Brandon and I were role playing, I'm just going to go over step one. Here's the personal thing and articulate it to Brandon as concisely as possible. It is not about length, it is not about how many words you say. It's just how clear you can convey the value. And in fact, the fewer words, the better. Almost always, the fewer words, the better. Okay. And then you can do that if you want for the leveraged asset, if you have time, right? The goal is that you're going to be under a minute when explaining this. Most of you, you're probably going to go on a little bit longer. That's why we're giving you extra grace. Okay. All right. So if you have time, then you can repeat this process, but make sure you just switch sides. Everybody clear on that? If so, drop a yes in the chat if you want to join the breakout room. We'll get you set up and we'll get you moving, okay? So I'm going to pull that up. Bear with me. I have to do this manually because pre-assign doesn't work because not everybody, there's no such thing as 100% attendance rate. So give me a second, guys. I'm just going to go in order as I see you. All right, we're getting a bunch of yeses. This is what I'm talking about. I love it.
Well, while Robert's doing that, I would say a cool way to use AI to help you do this, or not this particular activity, but have your list out as you go into ChatGPT or whatever AI platform you're using and say, hey, ask me questions that's going to help me create a bullet list of marketing um, assets for creating a listing presentation for my sellers. And it'll go and it'll start prompting you, asking you, and get your brain going. That might be helpful because some people are like, what do I do? How do I do it? So that might be an easy way for you guys to leverage AI.
I love it. All right, we need a couple. We need one more for Bonnie. Who's going to jump in, role play with Bonnie? We got to get them in the chat. Come on, guys. We should have way more people. There we go. Kathleen, there we go. I'll see. Heidi, I got you already in a room. It's coming. You guys don't get the invites. It doesn't let me send them out. Like, I have to send them all together. And then it doesn't let me, like, create more rooms afterwards. It's very tedious. So, yeah. All right. Last call. 3, 2, 1. All right. Invites going out. Here comes the rooms. You guys should be getting accepting those right away. There we go. There we go. Love seeing it. Okay, everybody else is hanging out with us. Brandon and I are going to keep talking, sharing some things with you, um, and getting into it. Lauren, I know one day we're going to ramp you up, and then you won't have to do that anymore, huh? That'll be nice. All right. So, Brandon, next question for you. So, what's one of the most interesting or kind of like surprising stories you've had when that came from when you started conveying, right? What you do, articulating consistently what you do and clearly what you do in marketing. Like, give me some examples or some stories.
I think the biggest one is just confidence in myself to articulate what I'm doing. Everybody knows, hey, there's a lot of things we do, but to be able to go in there and clearly articulate that gave me the confidence to go out and do it again and then
Mm.
improve it. So not a particular story per se, but I think that one was a huge turning point on like I could go into a listing presentation blinded now and just start talking based on what I hear the seller needs. I can provide my marketing slides,
Ooh,
one
that's
asset at
powerful.
a time and be like, oh, they need this. Hey, I have this. Because I've created it, I've done it, I've articulated it now. Now it's kind of like, oh, I have these things,
I
right?
think that's
So
really, really smart what you just said, and it's often overlooked about just kind of being prepared to handle objections or concerns. Like if someone comes in and asks you the question, okay, like what if the house doesn't sell? Being prepared with cash offers and a cash offer slide. Hey, don't worry, I have a plan for that. Because Alex Ramosi, for those who don't know, $100 million offer, great marketer. He taught me something pretty profound, and I used to do this, but he helped me to kind of do it better. Was he was like, before you ever talk to your client, write down every possible problem that they could face, and then write down the solution to that. Every single solution you could possibly think of, and then when you talk to them, you will never be afraid of anything they have to say. You will have a
it's
list. You'll
huge.
have a solution for everything. And that's essentially what you just said is like, as I'm listening to the client and they're sharing with me what's important to them, I have a marketing slide and more importantly, a marketing speech or breakdown or way to convey so that they're not worried that certain things are being missed or not covered or I mean there's people who are like, are you on TikTok or not? Because they believe that that's important. You need to be able to handle that objection. Doug, I don't know if you're on TikTok, right? But you got to be able to handle that objection. If someone comes in, especially younger sellers, they believe that TikTok is a way to sell a home. It doesn't mean you have to be on TikTok. I'm not someone who says you have to do all things. No way. But you do have to have all answers. Your client expects you to have all answers. All right, next question for you. Uh, what's one of the difficult aspects of this process that you kind of had to overcome as you're going through it, right? You're actually putting in the work to do this. What's one of the biggest or most difficult parts that you had to overcome?
For me personally, it was getting out of my own way. Like, hey, I need to just put it down on paper. This is what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be pretty. And I just get in there and do it. Like it's scary to go into a listing presentation with no slides and not really a confidence to say, these are the things based on what I understand and understand. And I think this happens a lot of times with, newer agents or agents that get lackadaisical in their profession. Like the ones that are, for example, not using AI to help improve their business, you're going to get left behind if I'm being completely blunt. So you have to adapt, you have to be flexible. This market's hard, but it's worse when you're not doing anything to get ahead of the market. So
I
yeah,
love it,
get out of my own way.
dude.
So
Truth right there for so many of us. All right, last question as we start to bring everybody back. So, do you think that anyone could do this, or only a certain type of agent or loan officer? Like, is this something that all agents could do, or only a particular type?
I think it's necessary for everyone to be able to write down their value. And at the end of the day, I think that's what you're doing. What is my value to you as a seller? Why are you paying me? You're
Yeah,
running a job. So absolutely. I think it's critical.
I
Yeah.
feel like that question is something that
That was a catch 22 question. I was like, nice one.
no, no, no. This is so good because I feel like that's a question that most agents should be able to answer is, why are you paying me? Right? Why am I paying you? Right? I think that a lot of us get afraid, right? And it's like, why are we afraid? If we're good at what we do, we're not afraid.
Yeah, when you get your license, do they teach you how to like that there's no emphasis on you need to show value. I don't think, yeah, they might touch on it on a module or two, right? But there's no clear emphasis on like this will make or break you on the 2 year mark or the 5 year mark or whatever if you're not able to provide your value. At the end of the day, like that's like anything, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. How'd it go, guys? Everybody who came back from the breakout rooms? I tried not to give you too much time so you didn't talk too much. I was trying to make it really like kind of feeling like I got to get through this. So drop in the chat. Give me some of the good stuff. Give me some of the bad stuff. Let me know how it went. Bonnie, it froze? Your breakout room froze? Dang. Well, was it Kathleen's internet? Yeah. All right, guys, drop in the chat though. Let me know how it went. Kind of share with me what you felt, what you went through. Maybe you had a thought that just came up, or realization as you just role played this. I want to know. Drop them in the chat. I see you guys typing. I love it. I love it. It's so important to role play this. I mean, if you guys want a secret to like sounding confident, it's just practice it. I mean, if you can't convince yourself of your own value, then good luck trying to convince someone who doesn't know you and doesn't know what you know, right?
exactly.
Bonnie said, I absolutely loved Redo. I need to look into that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, Redo is actually one of the coolest programs I've ever seen. And I kind of feel like, why haven't I seen this sooner? Like, yeah. I
I think
love
the
it. I think it went well.
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brand.
No, I was just gonna say we were talking about cool things about real estate. I think it'd be cool to be able to have buyers that are relocating, be able to throw on the VR headset and walk and talk them through the house. Like that would be pretty sweet. Just
Yeah.
figuring out how that works, right? $1 million
Yeah.
idea.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys, for sake of time, we're going to jump right into what you're doing this week to grow. So, pull up your calendar right now. You're going to schedule 1 hour time block today or tomorrow. I know you're busy. I get it. But are you too busy to increase your chances of winning a listing by 22%? Are you really too busy for that? Come on. This is your job, right? You got other things to do, but are you really too busy to have a more concrete, clear plan on how you help sellers sell their home faster, which by the way, means you get paid sooner? You're not too busy for that. Let's be real here, right? You're not too busy for that. It's your job to make time because marketing is one of the most critical aspects of your job, right? Okay. So, I think an hour should be sufficient for you guys. Drop an hour. Your goal is I want you to list the 5 most impactful marketing strategies you used to get a home sold. It could be personal ones that you offered, it could be leveraged. It's up to you, right? You're going to define each of them clearly. It's okay if you write down a lot here. You're going to get better. I'd rather you write more than less in the beginning so that you just have more to work with, okay? So you're going to define them, emphasizing, this is important, listen to this, emphasizing how they benefit the homeowner's ultimate goal of more money, less stress, right? That's it. To be honest, isn't that most of our goals? Let's be real. I'd like to make more money and have less stress in life. Like, that sounds pretty good to me. Okay. All right. And then I want you to create a slide like Brandon's. Bullet points. That's it. I don't want you to get fancy. I don't want you throwing a bunch of images. You're going to get distracted. You're going to waste time, and that will crush your business and waste all the effort that you put into this. Start with just, I know what I'm doing. I'm here to protect you, protect your time, increase your value. Ooh, that's a good line. I like that. Um, okay, so you're going to take those 5 impactful strategies that you use to get a home sold. And yes, one of them can be the MLS. I will allow that. It is probably one of the single most important things that an agent actually does is put it on the MLS. So I'll allow it. You can make one of the 5 MLS. There's your little cheat right there. Okay, you're going to define them. Remember, as you're defining them, it's an emphasis on how it helps the homeowner's ultimate goal of making more money and having less stress. And then you're going to just throw it in a bullet list. Get into Canva, drop a bullet list. There you go. And then use it. Use it on your next listing appointment. I don't care, right? Just use it. And share your results in the Agent Alliance Facebook group post. Brandon and I can jump in, give you some feedback even. We can check it out. Maybe we'll ask some questions. Maybe we'll even do a little bit of like comment section role playing. Everybody clear on that for the week? Pretty clear? Okay. Super important. I think we've all emphasized that. To look at this a different way, though, okay? Actually, I think that's the next question I have for Brandon. Yeah. Okay. That was sort of a question for you, Brandon. So most agents and LOs won't even make or use this slide. Do you have a tip for them to just kind of get them moving?
What do you mean by moving?
Just to get them going on doing the activity of writing down these things, defining what they mean, like the value they bring the homeowner, and then being able to articulate that.
Yes, I think whatever comes to mind, just write it down. I think that's a healing activity for a lot of people is now that we've gotten to a lot of social media and a lot of digital stuff going on, doing writing activities is good for the brain.
Mm.
So even better when you're improving on your marketing things. So I think telling yourself, hey, this is going to be helpful for me in like just clearing out my brain. Because if you held everything up here, it's not really helpful for you to get new things
Mm-hmm.
in. So keep it as an idea of like, hey, I'm removing some of this information so I can put it on paper, and then, once it's there, then you can put it aside and walk away. It doesn't matter. You got it on paper, right? And then don't stress out about the big picture, right? Just do the small step first, and you'll probably have some like, okay, cool, I got that. Now it opens up more ideas
You'll
for
get
you. So
inspired, guys. Yeah, when you
yeah.
start taking the baby steps, next thing you know, you're going to be running. Like it just happens naturally. I mean, when you just start taking the baby steps, I mean, and that's applicable to all aspects of your life, by the way, right? Just take the baby step. Don't worry about the big picture, right? And you're going to get there.
Analysis paralysis is tough. I'm the
Guilty.
worst person for that is
Yeah,
we're own worst critic. Just like doing videos, like it's the same thing. Like just we just got to do it.
I love
Yep.
it. All right, guys, we're gonna drop some more in the newsletter for you. I don't know why it says 700 subscribers. We have 900 now. I guess I forgot to edit that slide. Um, so we will also include, if it's ready. I don't know. I didn't ask Brandon. He has an updated slide that he was working on, and a pretty cool program that he was using for it too. That I'm gonna be checking out myself. So we'll include that his updated slide in the newsletter. 5 simple ways. I'm doing this for you. 5 simple ways to use this one slideshow to attract more sellers and buyers right to you. Okay. Remember what I promised you at the beginning of this call. This isn't just going to help you win more listing appointments. That's the number one goal. Absolutely. You need to dominate listing appointments. You are an agent. It's your job to win the listing appointment. That is 101 right there. But this is going to actually be something you can use as a lead magnet. This is going to be a lead magnet that you can use to get other people, to other buyers and sellers, to you. So you'll see. It's in the newsletter. Also, Brandon generously offered, and you guys know at the first of every month, so June, the first Wednesday there, we have the special best of series, and Brandon will be giving away a free one-on-one coaching session, which is pretty awesome. So, I mean, you can talk about slides with him. Brandon does a ton of other things. Maybe you want to learn about what he does with military groups. It's going to be a great opportunity to just meet one on one with him. And then, of course, I'm going to give you instant access to the replays and slides. There's stuff. Maybe you wanted to go over the role play again that you heard Brandon and I do earlier, and you're like, man, that was too fast. I need to hear it again. Maybe you want to see the other one that we did. We got the replays and slides. And of course, the absolute worst mistakes that agents and LOs make with their marketing slide. I've got a few in there and kind of how to fix them. Okay. So, subscription link is in the chat. You guys know it's all free, blah, blah, blah. We do lots of great things there. So, make sure you jump in on that. It goes out on Friday. So just hit that subscribe right now and you'll be all set and you'll be well taken care of. Okay. All right. Moving on. Questions. Drop those questions in the chat. Brandon and I will get right on them for you. Don't be shy. Don't hold back. I know you got questions, comments, concerns, or even just some feedback. If there's anything useful, make Brandon feel good. Say something nice,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, please. It's only 8:52 here in Colorado, so
I'll take it off. Yeah, you were up early
yeah.
for us, right? It is practical. Yeah, I agree. When Brandon and I were talking about like different things that we could do together, and we kind of landed on the slide, and Brandon kind of downplayed it at first. He was like, "That? That's not that big of a deal." And I was like, "Dude, that's a big deal. Like the marketing slide is a big deal, but it's just such a big part of what you do already that, again, you kind of
Yeah.
forget that it's so important." I think you said that earlier. In a way, we almost take it for granted what the consumer knows, while it's actually incredibly important. So, Bonnie says, Brandon, what is your favorite marketing you find is the most successful and cannot live without? What a great question.
Now, with the new Zillow Showcase, every single one of my listings will have Zillow Showcase. Uh, yeah, it makes you stand out online, which is harder to do nowadays. So that's huge for me. And the now I have a tangible, and I'll share my updated slides with Robert. He's more than welcome to share it. I believe collaboration is done at the top, right, and competition is done at the bottom. So I have nothing to hide. Like, hey, you want to rinse, repeat, or copy it off? Go do that. But I think Zillow Showcase is big for me. There's a lot of honestly, it's hard to focus on one thing, right? Because we have to think of like where are the touch points, where are the buyers coming from, right? They're going to be shopping online, obviously, right? They're going to be maybe walking down the neighborhood and see your sign. Maybe they got a flyer on their door, maybe they got a call or an email. Like you have to think of all the different ways that buyers are going to be seeing that listing. Marketplace is another great one. Like Walt and Robert doing the 100K
100K in
challenge
100
is
days.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one. So there's just a lot to think about, and I think that might be overwhelming for a lot of agents. Is like, I have so many to think about and do. What do I do? Just write them down, and then you can prioritize them based on your market, based on
Yes.
what your sellers are coming back to you about. Like sometimes I'll put out stuff like the Facebook groups. It doesn't have as big as an impact to the sellers in person because they don't understand what that is, right? How that's actually
Well, that's
conveyed.
a good point. It could be
So
like your number
yeah,
one thing that produces the greatest results, but if like they don't get it,
yeah,
like that's why articulation is very important, but also just understanding your audience.
yep.
Like, you know, keep it simple, stupid, right? Like you just have to make it so stupidly easy for them to digest, right? If you're great on social media, but they don't even use social media, it's very hard for them to understand that as value. And so it'd be better for you to, and this is just going to come with time and skill, is it'd be better for you to focus less on the fact you do social media and more of just how you drive more sales, right? More offers, more showings, because that is a universal language right there. Everybody wants more offers. Everyone wants better offers. Okay. And you're going to have to adapt, right? And that's why Brandon has that whole bullet list and he can explain them all so that no matter who he's talking to, he's ready. If he needs to emphasize more on physical marketing materials, then that's what he'll do, right? If he needs to emphasize more on Zillow Showcase, and that's what he'll do. He'll have his favorites to kind of get the conversation going, to get it warmed up, but he's going to adapt as they go through, right? So that's super important, guys.
Bonnie had a question, a follow-up for that. I just want to answer that real quickly. So if you go to Zillow.com and you go in and you look at a map anywhere, you're going to see little stars on some of the dollar signs that you're looking at for the map. Those are Zillow showcases. If you click on one of those, it's going to populate and it's going to come out. It's a completely different visual. There's the 3D walk tour. There's the 2D floor plans associated with a map. There's a lot of visualization and ways for the buyers to come in and see more information. Before Zillow Showcase, what I was doing, I did my own 3D tour with Pivo and my camera, and it'd take me forever. Now I just pay it to my photographer, but it's the same approach. A walkthrough is huge for your listing. So if you're not doing that, highly suggest adding some sort of 3D walk tour and 2D plan. 2D plan with Kubicasa is free. You can do that. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
I love it. I love it. Give me some more questions, guys. Drop them in the chat. I know some people just joined really, really late. Guys, you're about
Oh,
an hour
nice job,
off.
Shane.
It's
It's all right.
okay.
He just dropped a nugget. He's trying to get his listing on the map. Look at you. I should have just gave one of
He's
my
gonna
listing.
put that
That's
on
what
his
I should have
slide.
done. Nice job, dude.
Just watch. Shane's gonna be like, he's gonna put that on slide. He's gonna be like, I also go into random Zoom calls and tell people to buy this listing. That's funny.
That's good.
That
I
would be
like that.
honestly, Shane, that would be
That
a
was clever.
hilarious joke slide to put in there and show like it would make them laugh, but then you could actually make it serious and be like, listen, that's how dedicated I am. Everything that I do when I list your home, everything I do revolves around getting it sold. That's not a
Yep.
bad, if you think about it, actually, going into an extreme like that is actually a pretty awesome marketing thing. Cause I would turn around and be like, dang, like I
It's different.
laughed, but actually Shane will do anything to get this home sold.
Anything.
Anything. We don't talk about those things, but he'll do them. I love it, guys. Again, for those who joined late, you're about an hour off, so don't worry. You registered. We'll send you the replay on Friday. You'll get the slides. And then now you know. Now you know. Okay, just come back, come in an hour earlier next week. Any last questions, guys, for Brandon? Or any insights, comments, things you learned? Also,
Yeah,
this
feel
helps with my
feel free
screen.
to reach out anytime. I'm an open book. Like I
We'll
said
tag you in a,
before, we need
post
to
on our
collaborate.
Facebook group as well, where people could
Sure.
ask you some more questions as they maybe they'll start to do it and they have some things that come up of like, or even we'll give you guys feedback. Right? Send us a picture of your slide on that post. We'll make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, send a picture of that slide and we'll give you some feedback and we'll give you some insight.
Shameless plug. I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado. If anybody needs anything at all, I got you covered. So,
Love it. Market it. Come on now. All right, guys. We will see you in the group. Again, drop them there. We'll make a post too where we'll tag Brandon and you guys can ask that. And I'm really excited to see. You guys are going to learn something special about what you can actually do, and it really will increase your confidence. You're going to turn around and be like, no, I am actually worth a commission. When I still coach a lot of agents, and one of the big questions I ask them that very few can ever answer is, why are you worth what you ask? Is that not a fair question for any seller to ask, though? Agents get defensive, but isn't that a pretty fair question to ask? Hey, you want me to pay you something? Great. Why should I? Well, because I'll put your home on the MLS. Well, so will every other agent, including the one that charges a flat fee. Why are you worth it? And can you truly explain and articulate in simple terms? Today was a great test, right? You wrote down a couple assets that you have. You role played through articulating those assets. Now go repeat that process, become an expert that truly can do this, and you will win more listings. You'll have more confidence. And then again, in the newsletter, I'll show you a couple other ways you can use this to actually generate more leads and buyers and referrals for yourself, too. All right, guys, appreciate you being here. Thanks for investing in yourself. Let's go have a great day, a great week, and we'll see you in the newsletter on Friday. Bye, everybody.
See you. Take care.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.